see that record come on? So now we're on.
Call to order the meeting, County Commissioner meeting on Monday, May 24th, 2021 at 2 o'clock. We'll start off the invocation. If you would, just please stand and join me. Most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for another beautiful day that you bless us live forward. Lord, right now as we go into the season where we deal with our budget, Lord, we just ask you to lead, guide, and direct us. Give us the wisdom to make the right choices, Lord. Lord, we know you have your hand around us, Lord, and we just keep praying for that guidance and leading us through the way. Lord, we just thank you so much for the many blessings you've blessed us with, and Lord, we just ask you to just continue to be with us today and forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Continue standing for our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start off the approval of the agenda.
Approval. Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We now move to our presentation of the fiscal year 21-22 recommended budget from our county manager, Ms. Oakley.
I'll flip on this.
What a wonderful time. But anyway, Honorable Chairman and board members, it is my privilege and pleasure to present to you the recommended budget for the 21-22 tax year, fiscal year. And it is in accordance with the General Statute of North Carolina. The budget is balanced and prepared under the guidelines of the North Carolina Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act. A copy of this document has been filed with the clerk of the board and will be posted on the county website where it will be available for the public inspection. With that said, instead of reading my letter, I want you to pay attention to the slideshow we got, because I put all the budget on that. And then, we'll have our scheduled meetings, and then the commissioners can do what they please with the budget. But anyway, I want to thank the budget team members that we have that helped assist me in the budget, and Shannon, a lot of hard work and effort for her, and on Julia Edwards, a lot of hard work she does in all these number crunchings, and her assistant Lisa Langford. The budget process was accomplished by priorities established by the Board of Commissioners, with guidelines based on the budget goal session that was held in the month of March. These focused areas are no property tax increase, impact of the 2021 revaluation, promote economic growth. You wanted to see broadband internet service, and you were always, as usual, concerned about our education. Once we received the request from our departments, we had a deficit of $7.6 million, and which is the equivalent of a 17.15-cent tax increase. My recommended budget has no property tax increase, and it is the 7th year that we are at the current 62 cents. This was done in 2015. It was changed to 62 cents, and it's been the same ever since. The general county is 31 cents of that 62, and then the school's current expense is 31 cents of the 62, and then we have the 4 cents for the education fund, and all fire departments are at 8 cents tax rate. You have a total increase of $60,360,803. This includes the schools and everything in that amount. During this process, we have the revenue line item we tried to lay out as far as what the county receives each year. And you would see that the ad valorem tax represents the largest source of this, discretionary funds. There are 4 parts to that, and that would be real property, personal property, utilities, and motor vehicles. You'll note later in this presentation, you would see that we are under a revaluation that was adopted for the 2021 year. And in the next slide, you will see that the state of North Carolina mandates that revaluation. And the county conducts a reappraisal at least every 8 years. You must do that according to state statutes. Stokes County chooses to advance their reappraisal to every 4 years. Cycle based on the Stokes County having such a large utility in our county. And as you're aware, if the county sale ratio drops below 90% in the 4th and 7th year, the reappraisals of the reappraisal cycle, then equalization will occur with the public utilities. They will adjust down to what we are or below. That affects your revenue that comes in. The Stokes County's always done an in-house revaluation and hasn't had in which it saves a tremendous amount of money in the revaluation and not hiring an outside vendor to come in and conduct our revaluation, which would probably cost as much as $45 a parcel or something, you know. So it's a tremendous amount of savings, and our tax administrator knows that. But anyway, the reappraisal conducted has an increase of approximately $336.7 million. The next slide, you will see townships of the Stokes County and the rate of percentage that was increased, and with the townships laid to the side. With that, next slide, you would see doing a revaluation. The state recommends that we let the board know and the county know what revenue neutral is. In the year which a general reappraisal of real property has been conducted, the budget officer shall include in the budget for comparison purposes a statement of the revenue neutral property tax rate for the budget. Revenue neutral property tax rate is the rate that is estimated to produce revenue for the next fiscal year to the revenue that would be produced for the next fiscal year if we were not under a revaluation. Okay? Revenue neutral is the tax rates that you see here is what we have figured up with me working. I also worked with Richard on this also to get the actual values and the percentage of growth for those 4 years. And within those 4 years between revaluations, we have a natural growth. That percentage in natural growth is 2.753%, and that can be added back to the actual revenue tax rate neutral, which will raise it more than if it would if you just went to a regular revalue to revalue. And you can see in the bottom of this slide and the next one the amount of revenue neutral that needs to be applied this year if you want to remain at the same revenue of what was to be brought in from last year. Also in revenues, you'll see the sales tax. That's 7.7 million basically. That's with an increase of 1.2 million in the budget. And that's due to the COVID did not hurt us as bad as we thought it was going to do. Sales tax was reported throughout the year, and it was evidently that the economy was held strong, and sales tax were much higher than predicted. You'll see the sales tax on Article 39, Article 40, Article 42, Article 44, showing the allegations of the amount of taxes that is estimated to come in this new year. The total revenues for Stokes County is estimated at ad valorem taxes being $14,325,864, sales tax being $7.7 million, restricted intergovernmental would be 8.7, and unrestricted intergovernmental would be 619,000. We will get into more of that when we do the budget work sessions, and Julia can really tell you what all that's about. Okay. Other taxes and licenses 146, and then you have county services and fees at 10,109,000, and then you have the general fund balance that is being used, which is 3,995,000 for this year. This will give you the recommended general county budget, okay? This does not include the schools, which would be 45,648,626. Now we'll get into the expenditure side of the county's budget. You can see here that the different departments that comes in, there's 27 administration departments. You see what was requested and what was recommended. Human Services, you see that's also public services, debt services, and other county services such as capital reserve, contingency, dedicated fund, and mental health. You'll see here that the requested was 48 million, and the recommended is the 45,648,626. Some of the expenditures are outlaid out here is some of his equipment. The total amount requested is 2.9 million, and I'm rounding this, okay? So we can move on. You got other things you want to do. And the recommended amount is 1.6 million, or 1.7 basically. 448,711 of the general fund with financing from revenue sources provided in the balance to balance the budget, with the breakdown of the items in the budget under equipment request. Some of the major requests were like an ambulance that come in as equipment. You got all the computers throughout for all the departments. That's 98,000. And then you have Tracer SE web-based automated system. Mr. Barncastle may know what that is more than I do, but it's got something to do with emergency services. And that's at 510,000, but that gives you an idea of some of the larger ones that come in. You have your personnel expenditure. We have animal control was reduced by 2 employees, and when we go through the budget work session, we will definitely talk to you more about what's going on with animal control and Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's Department was added 2 employees, so you'll see what we're talking about here. And jail reduced 1 employee. Emergency communications added 1 employee. Emergency medical services added 6 employees. That's due to your new EMS station going down here. And then you got public buildings added 1 employee, and register of deeds has added 1 employee. This is a $563,691,000 increase there to the budget. You have personal services as far as health insurance, and it was held flat, right, correct, Shannon? And it didn't have any increase. You had some dental insurance. It remained the same. You had term life insurance. It will have a small increase. And then you had unemployment, which increased a little, and then your retirement, which is has got an increase in it from 10.23 to 10.84, and then to 12.104. And the amounts that's in the budget for each one of those areas. You have capital projects in this budget, and this is the 5 main areas that we looked at this year that's we've been talking about concerning some of our structures. This was a recommendation and highly recommended from Peter Gordon Architectural Services that we hired to do a building study in 2020. And that come out to be to where he was recommending there's 5 buildings that we need to seriously look at. And one of them being the animal shelter. I'm recommending we move forward with a new one based on what needs to be done there, and his recommendation saying the building is used up. It needs to be replaced. That's something that the board can take into consideration of what they want to do. The roof on DSS building, the Reagan building, the old courthouse, and of course our hospital that needs a lot of attention. And with that having an effect of 1.3 million basically. That's something that you can look at and you may want to add to it, you may want to take away, but this is what I put in here based on Mr. Gordon's recommendation. We had the school board to come in. The school board gave us our budget on the 11th of May, and the requested amount is 1.78 million. It is an increase over last year's budget. The total budget requested is recommended, what they have requested. and to be funded due to the amount of fund balance that the education system has, and the revaluation meeting the rest of the cost on it. The requested school current expense was $14,712,177. My recommendation is that. And then you had the capital outlay of 2.1 million basically, and that is an increase of 598,000 over last year's, and I am recommending the 2.2 million increase basically. Mr. Chairman and board members, it is my formal recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners of Stokes County adopts my recommended budget of $60,360,803 for the 21-22 fiscal year. You will see what the general fund is, and you can see what the actual school budget is, which brings a total of the $60 million I was talking earlier about. Mr. Chairman, I would also like to thank the employees and their tireless effort and continuing service that they provide the citizens of Stokes County. I would also like to thank the Board of Commissioners in providing our finance team and our budget team the direction that they wanted to go with in this new budget. I am looking forward to working with the board to finalize the budget for the 2021-22 budget year, fiscal year. And I hope and pray that it meets every need that our citizens have for this county. Next slide, you will see your work sessions, and I want to tell you that I appreciate everything that you've allowed me to work on, and I appreciate everybody in Stokes County that has dedicated their time and effort to the county. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I do appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Anyone here will.
I got a couple of them right now.
Okay.
When is it going to be posted on the internet or on the
It's
website?
probably,
Giving it to IT, but ask them to wait till about 2:30 today to post it. So you
Be
have to
today
actually
sometime, though.
receive it. Yeah, so it'll go on today.
Oh, okay. Also, on the revenue neutral thing, there's a slight difference in what's on the message and what was on the chart. So I just want to verify which one is right. If you go, it's like on the second chart you had. The one in the book, it says 2.9, says 0.2993, and that one said 0.2. No, the one before that. That one says 0.2968. For like General County, this one says 2.2993. So which one is it? Or is it
Now, what's that?
0.2968? I just want to make sure you guys have the right one before you post it on the website.
Look at your message and see what your copy of the budget message and see what it says compared to what it says right here.
Yes, on page 2 of the budget message, under revenue neutral there.
It should be in your binder.
Page 2, right there in the middle, revenue neutral tax rate per districts. Let me bring it over and show it to you.
0.02993 versus 0.68.
Yeah, 0.2968.
I see what you're saying.
I didn't check the others, but I think that's the one that just jumped out at me.
I still haven't seen it.
I probably just updated it or something. Didn't.
This year?
Yeah, so tax rate.
It's where you've got them listed there, and it says revenue neutral tax rates per district. It says General County 0.2993
Uh-huh.
tax
Oh, okay.
rate for revenue neutral, and up there it says 0.2968.
2968.
Okay. Evidently, I've used one that did not have the actual growth 4 years of, that has the 2.73. That would be my mistake, and that would need to be fixed. But it is the actual .2993.
It is 293, okay. The budget message is correct then, because That's what's going in the record, so.
Yes, sir.
Can we get a copy of y'all charts too today, or email them to us?
These,
What?
these, they're in the book, but
Oh, are they? I didn't get that far.
Yeah, they're in the front of the binder that we can send to you later.
I don't need, if they're in the binder, I don't need them. I don't need them.
The presentation and the message.
yeah, it's in here.
Shannon, can you go back
I
to
didn't look forward that far, so
slide,
I'm good.
slide 3 or 4? It's near the front. I just want,
3, 4.
well, hold it right there just a minute.
That's all the questions I had, by the way, so.
Total budget, all funds, 60,360,803. I'm sure you've got it in the binder somewhere, but does anybody know what our total budget recommended by you, Mr. Oakley, was when you first presented last year? Does anyone, Julia or Shannon or Jake, any of y'all know
What was last year's?
what you recommended versus what you
I'd have to
recommend?
get my.
Total budget for all funds, we have a recommended 60,360,803. Don't have it.
I can quickly look at it on where it's posted.
Okay, if you don't mind. Just like to see
They're still up there.
I'd just like to see the comparison.
They say on the finance tab. 1 second. Last.
You want to know,
Yeah, last year's, budget.
hang on, I can go out,
That's where I'm at right now, if I
Oh,
can
you
get
are,
it to pull
okay.
up, yeah, it's kinda going slow. Thought the whole budget was on there recommended, but I don't see it.
It's okay if you can't find it, I can wait.
We'll definitely get this information to all you guys, so
Yeah, I
you
just
know
wanted a
exactly
comparative analysis.
last year's
of-
budget, what was
The
requested.
approved one's on there, I thought the recommended one stayed on there too, but it's not, I guess it
you
replaced
want
it with the.
requested from
Yeah.
last year.
He wants
The
the
requested or the
recommended, he wants the
approved?
recommended one from last year, not
It's
the.
like what you recommended here is 60 million.
Yeah, I can see the approved one, but I can't see the recommended.
It was like 53 million.
I had to go.
I can't quote those other ones, but I do know it was 53 million and some dollars. That was what was
Or
presented.
when you recommended,
Yes.
Recommended.
Yes, I didn't bring it in.
Yes.
so it's somewhere in the 53
Three,
million.
53 million, I just can't remember the other number.
Okay.
I do remember the
Sorry,
53 million.
I thought y'all might have that. But that's good. Thank you.
But I will get all that information to you so you guys can have it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
A lot of numbers to look at. And it's good, it's good. Stokes County's done very well for itself, so I know you guys will do your best.
Recommended last year was the total school and county was 53,483,273.
83, I don't remember that one now.
53, 483, 273.
Yes, that's general fund and current expenditure.
Thank you.
So that was recommended, what did it end up being? What was the final? You have that?
The final number, the final approved budget last year.
Final pre-budget number was 53,596,128.
53, 596, 128.
Yes, it's on your
Yeah. Thank you, Julia.
I tried to go through.
Appreciate you looking that up.
Yeah, if you have any questions or things you want me to present, that I need to pull together some figures, just let me know. And I have color coded the, book, so you can, as far as equipment, salaries, school budgets, current Ymca, and then, the overview of the revenues, expenditures back to.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Now we'll move on to the public comments. We have one person. You'll have 4 minutes to speak. If you can, listen for the timer that goes off. I'll try to hold my hand if it goes much past that. But if you would just say your name, your address. And up first, Mr. Saparsi.
Srinanda Sarvasri is my name. I live at 1060 Tyler Road in Walnut Cove. And I'm just bringing an update on this project that I'm presenting on creating heaven on earth in Stokes County. Can we do it? The idea is looking at the scale of what could be done by a family, by a small community of a group of people, or a larger group, maybe even a small village or small town. And I'm first looking at the physical requirements for land and land use and what would make an ideal organization of that land for the production of food self-sufficiency, especially food sufficiency in cases of emergency, where we would know that we have all the food we need to live comfortably, indefinitely if we wanted to. And for that, the minimum requirement typically is about half an acre per person per year. All the food and essentials that we need can be grown locally. The minimum possible, I understand, to be about 4,000 square feet per person, but we wouldn't want to be limited to the minimum. And so I'm putting all this up on a website. My website is rebuildhealth.com, and I've been working on these ideas for, well, since 1971, so about 50 years. And the title of the webpage is just Heaven, rebuildhealth.com/heaven. And each month I'm putting up another insight, I'm calling them, of what we need to look at to create a society and an infrastructure that is simple, that is doable at a local scale, that allows people to live comfortably and not have to worry about the future. So that's the project. It's a simple idea, and it's actually, if you look at throughout history, we've always had to do this. You go back even hundreds or thousands of years. We've had communities that would come and develop when we settled this country. We had to create sufficiency. And it was more difficult then. Now we have access to so many resources. It should be a lot easier to do. And it could give us the stability that economic stability can't manage by itself. We may have the money, we may not have money to do what we want, but the earth is what provides our food. The earth is what provides our material needs. So if we know how to work with the earth to create abundance, we can have as much abundance as we want. And that's the concept. It's kind of a fun concept to explore, and I encourage everyone to go to that website, rebuildhealth.com/heaven, and give me some feedback on what you would like to see, if there's more to it. I'm just starting with the physical aspect of it first. Then we can look at the psychological aspect, the ideas of how do we get along, because communities have always had trouble getting along with the communities next door, or, and countries have had trouble getting along with other countries. So that's going to be a big part of it. That will be coming up in the next few months. So I just wanted to share what I have so far, and I'm going to be running off. I can't stay. So
Thank you.
thank you so much for the opportunity to present.
Thank you, sir. We'll now move on to our comments from commissioners and managers, starting with Commissioner Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to welcome everybody that's here today, either in person or online, and appreciate your interest in our local government, and we always seek your advice as we deal with issues that are related to the local government. So thanks again. That's all I have.
Commissioner Barney Kessel.
Again, reiterate, Mr. Commissioner Barr said, welcome everybody here, everybody watching. Lord bless us with another beautiful day. It was great to see the turnout for our fundraiser Saturday night. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Mendenhall.
Yes, as always, thank you for being here and participating in our local government. That is so important because the voters are the ones that elect the people that are sitting up here, and we need to hear from our constituents. If they have issues that they need to be looked into, please feel free to always contacting any of us five. I think any of the five commissioners would be glad to help you out and look into matters, or our county manager. And to everyone that is looking in today on the live stream, thank you for, you may not be here in person, but you're looking in and you're here in heart. So I say thank you for that, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Vice Chairman Cox.
Yeah, just thank everybody for being here today and for watching online. Today's Shannon's last meeting with us officially, but we know we're going to be needing her for a little while to help us out. And welcome Amber Brown today. She's here sitting in to learn. She'll be taking Shannon's place. We're happy to have her here today. And so today's a little bit of a sad day for us, but it's a happy day too because we're welcoming Amber. So that's all.
All right, thank you. I guess I'm going to take my time just to stand up and stretch for a minute. It's all right. So as our Vice Chairman said, it's kind of a bittersweet day. We're going to be losing Miss Shannon, but we're gaining another one good with Miss Brown right here. But Shannon, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners right here, Ms. Cox took her time to get this right here done for us. And this is presented to Shannon B. Shaver in appreciation in your 6 years of dedicated service and commitment to Stokes County, and it's dated May 31st, 2021. So it's got the Stokes County on there and the shape of North Carolina, so we hope we'll take us to his new job, and be sure you show it to Jamie when we walk through that front door. So thank you so much for all you're doing for us.
I like the shape of North Carolina. Very cool.
If you want a Tar Heel put on that, just let me know. We'll get that done for you.
I'll hang that up in my neck. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
And thank you, Vice Chairman Cox, for getting all that taken care of for us. You know how busy us men are. We had golf tournaments and everything else this weekend, so we appreciate
It's all
that.
worked out.
We'll move it on now to our county manager, Mr. Oakley.
Well, as you're seeing, Shannon, moving to another job, and I wish you the best of everything, Shannon. That you are very happy with the decisions you make in your life, and I pray that God will be with you and direct you and drive you in a manner that you'll be very fruitful in all that you do. So, and also, what's your name? Amber Brown. Glad to have her. She's here, and she's eager to get started. So I pray that everybody give us a little bit of time to get this transition over and allow us to make this change, right? There we go. So, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And Amber, he might have forgot your name this time, but I promise you, you're going to hear your name more than you've ever heard before. So. We'll move on now to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion on this? discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. No items on information then shall go into discussion agenda. Item A, the food service contract for the jail, Captain Eric Cohn.
Good afternoon. Congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
And congratulations to you as well. And good luck. All right, so just real quickly, I'll make this short and sweet here. Basically, our food service contract for the jail is scheduled to expire June 30th, 2021. So we made the decision to put it out for bids, did an RFP to the website. And we had 3 companies respond. 3 companies come and give their 2 gave a proposal, 1 never returned, 1 by the deadline. So I do have the 2 proposals here. One is the existing service provider, and then we have Trinity Services Group here is the other one who gave the proposal. From the jail standpoint, upon reviewing both of these, there was a reason for going out for bid. We started out in the jail under Craig Carrico with ABL. Summit bought out ABL several years ago. The small facility just didn't seem to draw the attention of the bigger company at that time, and there had been some issues that we kind of had there. So we made this decision to put it out for RFP. Trinity Services Group seems to have the better proposal for our facility. I have reached out to Surrey, who just took them on January 1 of this year. They got rid of their company and went with Trinity, as well as Trinity just picked up Caswell County Jail. And so that's someone who's, again, comparable to our size, and both of them give them rave reviews. They've been really pleased with them. For employee morale, for even the company, they pay more to their kitchen manager and to their staff, so that goes a long ways toward a happy cook, doing a good job and wanting to come to work. So that is part of the proposal there. You'll see there the breakdown. I asked them to do it in the 10 scale of the meals there in your presentation, or what you have there. It actually is maintaining the same calorie diet, same type of menu for just a smaller amount, and actually paying the employees a little bit more. So we had met with this group here, and to their credit, Trinity came multiple times and sat down with us and asked us what we wanted. The existing provider that we had did nothing but a telephone call and said, "When do you need this thing by?" And didn't come and even have a conversation with us face to face. So my recommendation would be asking the county to move this to the action agenda and giving us the approval to move forward with this contract, if you guys will be willing to do that. Mr. Browder has already seen the contract there. You'll see his approval letter as far as what they have presented, and that way we can move forward, because obviously we're within a month or just over a month in this transition period, and they've already given us a 4-week layout plan of how to make this transition happen smoothly, if you guys approve that.
So you are asking for us to move it to action today, Eric?
That would be my request, so that Trinity would have the opportunity to go ahead and start making their plans, since, again, June the 30th is the close down date. They have assured us if something happens with our current provider that they move out or not be able to provide theirs to the last date, that they would go ahead and move forward and make sure we're covered.
I've got a question, because I don't know how this works at all. Do they fix and prepare the food on site at your jail, or does it come in from a different kitchen where it's prepared somewhere else?
Everything's prepared on site. We have the refrigerator, freezers, and all the food storage there on site, and they provide the staff, and we provide some inmate labor to help reduce that cost overhead, but everything's prepared on site.
Okay.
Any more questions? Commissioner Morrison?
Who was the lowest bidder, Eric?
The lowest bidder actually is probably going to be, considering I didn't have but the 2 proposals. Summit's proposal, if you drop the calorie diet, would have been just a smidge cheaper, but maintaining what we have, those 2 apples to apples type menus, then actually Trinity came in a little bit less.
Okay, good.
You're looking at like 3 to 5 cents.
I'm not implying that you should pick the low bidder. It should be a best value.
You're looking at about a 3 to 5 cent difference in the tray,
Yeah,
something like that.
if it's best value, you don't have to go just by low cost. And that sounds like what you did. You looked at the overall.
We maintain a
That's
3,000
right.
calorie diet at the jail.
Yeah.
So they offered a 2,100 to 2,500 calorie diet at the jail at a reduced rate. But Trinity offered the 3,000, which is what we are currently at now. So when I took Summit's 3,000 and what Trinity offered at 3,000, they were actually just a little bit cheaper.
Okay, good, that's all I have.
And consensus of the board will be okay with moving into action today?
Motion.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
I don't want to try it. Me and you always cover.
Yeah.
Neither one.
You want to taste it for me?
No, sir. I'm good.
We'll move on to item B, the tax office agenda. Mr. Richard Brim.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Afternoon,
This is
sir.
probably the shortest one I've ever had, so I'll get right to it. First item, as always, is our monthly tax collection status report. Happy to report that we've collected almost $22.7 million on the budget amount for the general county and school operating expense. That's about 102% of what was budgeted, so that's wonderful. Moving right along is our real and personal releases less than $100. We have two accounts that total $29.79. Then our real and personal refunds less than $100. We have three tax bills that total $15.33. And then we have real and personal releases more than $100. We have one account that totals $195.76. And the final item is real and personal refunds more than $100. That's three accounts that total $519.86. I am requesting the real and personal releases more than $100 and the real and personal refunds more than $100 be moved to the June 14th consent agenda for approval.
All right. Any questions, comments for Richard? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Move on to item C, the fireworks display request. Mr. Will Carter.
Mr.
Oh,
Chairman,
Mr.
I'll take care of that for you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This is a request from Glenn Knox of the Red Road Group LLC, the ones that does the fireworks in Lawsonville. A lot of people sponsors that, but it's mainly going through the Lawsonville Fire Department as this will be the second annual, and this was a great time last year. I think everybody enjoyed it, and I think they will this year. So I'm requesting that the board approve this request for fireworks display, and also the mass gathering is going to come through. Pretty sure I'll sign off on it today also. So, with that said, I am asking that the fireworks display, this request for this application be approved by the board.
Okay. Any questions, comments on it? All right. We'll move this to the action agenda on next meeting. Or do you need it today?
It probably needs to be done today because it needs to be done 30 days prior to the actual event.
Okay.
So, with that.
How does the board feel about this being moved to action?
Okay, good. All right. This will be item what?
F.
Move on to item D, the Stokes County Green Box Site Security Request. Mr. Oakley.
Mr. Chairman, this is what was on the agenda last time concerning the event that took place in Pine Hall and the attack that happened to one of the individuals. Are you?
I just had you back on here to do, yeah,
Okay.
it's just, yeah.
But anyway, this is to make sure that we provide a certain amount of security at our sites due to the individuals that works there. We have a lot of elderly that works these sites, and we're living in strange times. So I would recommend that what Mr. Easter has laid out for us to, as far as the security side of it, as far as cameras and door locks and glass and fronts and so on, that and he can elaborate more on that. But I would appreciate it if the board would consider moving this to action agenda the next meeting, and we move forward to making sure that we provide a little bit of security for these individuals at our green box sites.
Can I ask one thing?
Yeah.
We talked about this at the last meeting with the option to move it. I know we're moving a lot of stuff today, but it's kind of that time of year, we're getting ready to do budget and all that. We talked about the option to move this to action today, so they can go ahead and get those sites secured. And I've got a budget amendment from Julia. If you choose to do it today, it would be budget amendment 105 for the amount. So just to make you aware, I've got that if you would be okay with that option We had a discussion once already.
I think if you're dealing with the safety of the employees, you should move quick with it.
Second that motion.
And this is all 8 sites.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Got to.
I've technically not met most of you, but I am Stuart Easter, and I know Rick.
How you doing?
All right, you?
Long time no see.
Yeah, but we've run some numbers, and due to the incident that we had, cameras, DVR, lockbox, and brackets, we're looking at about $4,272. We have a backup. It's an APC backup for the cameras and the DVD, and it's $980.53. Supplies to install everything, it's $1,200. Replacement of the doors, where we have doors that are glass. These doors would be a solid door or a door with a small window. And the locks, deadbolt locks for those doors, around $2,000. So that the total cost would be $8,452.93. And I think that's a step in the right direction from what we had happen. I think it would help and give those folks a little peace of mind up there. So.
Any more questions, comments on this? Mr. Morris?
Stuart, I'd say, and good to have you on board, by the way. I hadn't seen you since you came over here, but I would say this is a good step in the right direction. It's not that much money when you think about what it's being used for. So I would hope you guys would kind of test this, and then if we need to do more after you test this beyond what you're asking for now, okay. I definitely would be open to doing whatever we need to.
Okay.
Make sure we don't have any loopholes, any gaps in the security. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Everybody fine with moving this action today as well? All right. All right. Thank y'all. We're going to item E,
Yeah.
the wastewater treatment plant service agreement. Mr. Stuart Easter.
Yes. When I first came on board, I started looking at a lot of different things and making observations of this and that. And I found in our wastewater treatment plant that I observed by myself and other staff that it had a few issues. Nothing major. Had some repair issues. And it just needed some TLC. So I contacted the Rural Water Association, had those folks come in and give me an assessment of the treatment plant. And pretty much their assessment was to what I had found. Needed a few repairs, just some overall housekeeping and TLC. So while I was into this assessment, Mr. Mark Bowman, the operator that's looking after the plant now, he came to me on 4/26, and he resigned from doing our wastewater. And he said he could resign that week and be done on Friday, or he could finish out the month of May. And I asked him, I'd really appreciate it if he would extend it through the month of May. It would give me time to research other options. So I've contacted Pace Analytical, which used to be R&L Laboratory, and they did the treatment plant prior to Mr. Bowman. And they have gave me a quote to look after the treatment plant for this next fiscal year. And at the end of this next fiscal year, we can reevaluate where we're at. Right now, it takes a grade 2 operator to run the plant, and currently all we have is a grade 1 operator. The price difference is going to be probably twice what we're paying now. I've run the numbers, and we're spending anywhere from $32,000 to $36,000 a year to run the plant. If we go with Pace Analytical, we're looking at $68,536. But that takes care of, that's a 5-day a week, a man on site 5 days, all the sampling, testing, everything, all in one basket. We provide materials, and that's it. I have talked to 2 other companies that do the same thing. I've not got a official quote from them, but their price is pretty much in the same ballpark as Pace. And the guy at Pace currently, he did the plant prior to the other fellow taking it over. So he knows the plant. And I reached out to the Stokes County Schools supervisor this morning and talked to him. Pace currently does wastewater for those folks too at the county schools, and asked them if they had any issues, and he said everything was good and they done a real good job. So that's kind of where we're at with that. We're kind of put in a situation we're going to have to get somebody by Mr. Bowman resigning at the end of the month. So this is technically his last week.
Would you give me the price again? Did you say $68,000?
Mm-hmm. $68,536.
And once we get somebody certified in-house to do that, we'll have somebody here that'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
That'll be saved, but for now, that's about the only option to keep it
Yeah.
in compliance with the state.
Yeah. We're just kind of in a situation.
Any more questions?
So with this, I'm sorry, Rick.
Go ahead, I'm not in a hurry.
Sure. Okay. I was just gonna say, this is going through the end of the month, so do you need this moved to action today?
Yes.
At least this one.
Yes, sir.
And what you'd be approving today is the 5,711, which I have got a budget amendment for that one too, that Joy has done, which is actually number 99, because that one was done before the ones on consent, which was 100 through 104, so that's 99 to keep them in order. That if you committed to doing that one, you're committing to do the full year contract, the total amount, but that would just get us, that would at least get us through the month of June for this fiscal year, and then you'd be approving to do it for the rest of the year by doing that contract.
Thank you.
And I've talked to these folks. This is a estimate, and they told me that it wouldn't be any higher than what we have here, but it could be cheaper. They said once they see how long it takes them to get here and how long it takes them to do the work, this could be cheaper than what we have. They gave me a high estimate.
Well, my question is, the other guy was just on a contract to do it, right? We've always contracted for that, I believe,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, you're planning on trying to do it in-house, or are you gonna keep contracting? What makes the most sense?
To me, money savings would be to do it in-house. I've got one guy that's interested.
Okay.
And I've talked to him about it, and we would reevaluate in a year's time, get him signed up, and I'm gonna get signed up myself too, so.
Okay, good.
That's, I think we can do it in-house and save some money and do just as good a job, but
Okay, good.
right now, we're kind of at the mercy of.
This is a high-risk area if it ain't going like it's supposed to go, so I'm ready to make sure
Well,
we don't have any hiccups with that. That
No,
gets you on the national news.
I don't want to be on the news.
Don't
I
either.
don't wanna be on the news. And talking with the county maintenance guys this morning, they had people that did this, but they said it worked better for them just to have Pace do it, because it's so much to keep up with. But, so,
You talk about y'all going to get certified. Could y'all have it be certified within a year?
that's a good question. I'm not sure. I've got to talk to the rural water, wastewater part of that. And I've already talked to one guy several times about it, and the process may be a little longer than a year. But Pace is willing to do a month by month.
Okay.
If we see that we need them for another 2 months or 3 months, they're willing to do that too.
Another quick question. With the housekeeping issues you said that you wanted to do to the plant, is it overall, I think we've had refurbished it before with some pretty big expenditure, so for the long run, it's in good shape.
The plant's in great shape.
Yeah, okay.
It just needs tidying up, a few housekeeping issues, a few repairs. And the reason I went to the rural water is because I wasn't as familiar with it. And I knew that they would give me a fair assessment.
Oh, yeah.
So I got those folks in here. We went there. We actually went, when we went there, Mr. Bowman was there when we went. And I pretty much told him, I said, I'm just being honest with you. I've got these folks here. They're giving me an assessment because I'm not as familiar with it. And he was okay with that. And then when I got those, and that's the assessment I got back from them folks was pretty much the same thing. It's not in dire need or any of that. It's
Do you happen to know what capacity it's at now? I mean, what percentage of the capacity, because it was only 30% or something a while back.
I think we're still running around 40 to 45%.
Okay, good. All right, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any more questions, comments on it? Everybody give a moving to action.
Yeah. That'll be budget amendment number 99 that you're reading with that one for 5,711.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you on.
Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you.
All right, item F, the insurance rates for fiscal year 21-22. Ms. Shaver?
That's me. So, I'm not sure if our new commissioners, you'll learn a lot about it, I think, in the budget process maybe, but we are a self-funded insured. So that came some time ago, back when insurance rates every single year go up and up. So this was a way for us to save some money and not have to pay such a high increase every year. But over the past couple of years, we've seen a little bit of an increase each time, but that's why we kind of worked out the quirks with self-funding. And I did attach something in the agenda that kind of gave you some of the advantages of self-funding. And this is really the first year we're finally, besides the first year, the very first year we did it, I think we saved a 14% increase. The second year we saw a big increase, like 10 or 11%. Last year was a few percent increase. This year we're finally staying flat because finally we've gotten our numbers right. So self-funding is kind of a good procedure because you're only paying for what insurance you use. So we finally, in the beginning, we didn't quite budget enough because we weren't really sure what we were going to use. So rather than going with a big company where whether you use the money or not, you pay the insurance rate no matter what, we're actually seeing a refund this year. We're getting some money back. We actually haven't used all the money that we budgeted. So we could do a little bit of an increase just to have a little bit more cushion. We already have a couple $100,000 cushion in that account plus some of the refund money. So being with the budget already as it is, we've decided to stay flat, and that still keeps us okay. So we're not actually having to see an increase in the health insurance part, which is kind of unheard of, but it finally is the self-funding paying off. So we have finally figured out our rates, figured out how they're going to drive every year. Part of the reason, sometimes we bring this to the first meeting in May, we brought it to the last one. Doug Dunn, who's with EPA, who's our broker for insurance, he tries to get us the most up-to-date rates down to the minute. He'll be putting it out there for every company to bid on, and if we start trending a little better and our rates look lower, he'll keep it out there again and see if he can get a cheaper rate. So MedCost is still our cheapest option, so we're staying with them, and that's the $644.85 rate per employee, same as it was last year. We had the same flat rate for dental insurance again. The only thing that we had a little bit of an increase in is the term life, and it went from $498 to $585. So it's 87% increase for the employee per month. So pretty good news on the insurance front as far as for the budget. I am, and I hate to keep doing this. Jimmy Walker's probably watching, freaking out, but I hate to keep asking to move things to action today. But just somebody wants to give that speech for old times. But this is kind of important, even though we're kind of late getting it, because we need to go ahead and do open enrollment for employees, and that takes a good amount of time. That's got to be done before July 1st. So if we're good with going with the flat rate again, no increase, same insurance providers, all that, if we can move that to action today, would be great. And if you have any questions, I can try to answer those for you.
I just say on behalf of Jimmy Walker, let's move it to action.
He's gonna be out of your car when we're done
today. Every time you cringe when you ask to move something to action.
Any questions, comments on it?
I may call him and tell him how many items.
I think I might call and tell me there's 7 items to action today.
He would be at the next meeting, I assure you.
Yeah, he won't public comments.
Oh, with that, he'd take a chair, put it right there between Wayne and Ronnie, and say, y'all scoot over, give me a spot right here.
I just say I agree with the self-funding if we can do that. I mean, it's all going to boil down to your experience rate on all of them, whichever way you go, but I think this self-funding, and I think Doug does a good job of beating the bushes for competition, so.
Yeah, and
Good
he
with
works hard even with individual employees, finding ways to save costs for the county on getting them hooked up with different providers and things like that to really drive, because sometimes, you have a few sometimes drive your rate up higher, just and that just can't be helped. So he's worked with some of those to try to help that rate stay a little bit better. So this was pretty good news this year.
Maintain a fund balance,
Uh-huh.
and it just keeps you from having sticker shock
Yeah.
every once in a while, so.
Yeah, so next year, maybe since we have a little bit of a savings in there this year, if there is an increase, it might not be as bad because we've got some savings in there from this year.
Right.
Are they still doing those what you call health and wellness plans or to reduce rates too, or we did that one time? Or?
Yeah, and he's even talked about before looking into trying to do some kind of more of a wellness plan
Yeah.
for employees and things. And another thing, he was doing an incentive for signing up for the teledoc thing. That saves a lot of money too. And I'm not sure if any of you have the insurance and haven't done that yet. It's a really nice feature of our insurance. It's literally a no copay e-visit for simple things. It's pretty handy. You can sign up. You can even have the app on your phone and do a face-to-face. Yeah, for something simple that you need, something an antibiotic or something like that, and it's no copay. It saves the county a lot of money on that too.
Sounds good. All right, so everybody's good with it? All right. We'll move on to item G, to transportation for DSS and senior services. Ms. Glenda Pruitt.
Good afternoon. We sent out for transportation this year. We actually received kind of the same as we usually do. So I've talked with Stacy and with Vicky in regards to the companies, and they're actually the companies that we're currently in contract with. Ymca, they're as usual our normal go-to, but we do like to have a little backup in case they're unavailable. So my request from Vicky and Stacy is for us to contract with all three of the vendors, which would be Ymca, Gentle Care, and Archangels. So, and I don't need this moved to action.
Okay.
So Jimmy would be proud. So it's just for our upcoming year. But the rates really didn't change a lot from last year. I was kind of impressed that it didn't due to the cost of different things. And we haven't used them a lot this year due to the fact of, a lot of the places weren't open. The doctor's offices were closed unless you had emergency. So I was expecting a little more of an increase, but Ymca was only 7 cents. Our other little vendors were actually like 50 cents. So I was expecting a little more, but was glad they were still low.
Good. Any questions, comments on it? All right.
Thank you.
Glenda.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good evening.
You too.
So that's going to action for next meeting. The
Correct, yeah.
transportation for-
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
All right, move on to item H, veterinarian contract. Ms. Shaver.
So this is just a standard agreement that we've had with Dr. Roberts, who takes care of some veterinary services through the animal shelter. Previously we had that with Dr. Cowan, and then she gave that up, and Dr. Roberts has been doing it for a couple of years. I had our animal control supervisor, Scotty Kaiser, check with him, make sure he looked over it again, didn't see anything he wanted to change. It's fine with the same terms and agreements. We just need to update it annually. So as long as the board is okay with that, we could move it to action for next meeting, and I can do a new addendum to it and just change the dates, unless there's something you'd like to see that you'd like to add or change, but he's good with it as he is to keep going with it.
So nothing was changed from last year at all?
It's just, it's not one of those that's written like it renews automatically, or it's literally a 1-year agreement every time, because sometimes that's one that gets changed.
Okay. Any questions, comments on that? All right. Item I, the YMCA recreation contract.
That's another one that is just a formality kind of, so you're going to talk about the Y contract in your budget and approve it in your budget. It's the $120,000 and some odd numbers that pays for the services that the Y provides to this side of the county for recreation, like things like Moorcock Park and the facility up here, and they manage the shelter at Moorcock. I spoke with Derek Edwards at the Y, and they're not anticipating any changes, or they're not asking for an increase in the budget. So again, would be another, just a date change of that again, making it, it's always effective July 1 when the budget's effective, but we usually do the contract a little bit ahead of time.
Okay.
So just another housekeeping. Some of these I was trying to make sure that we had on here, we're done kind of just in time transitioning too, so they don't get kind of fall behind a little bit.
Okay. Questions or comments on that? All right. Move to action for next meeting. Item J, the Pine Hall Campus Lease and Operating Agreement.
So that's the agreement that we have with LifeBright to manage the Pine Hall Community Campus down there. I sent that to Ty as well to look over. The existing agreement is fine as far as the lease and operating agreement. One thing that I did ask Ty about that we might want to change in that one is when that agreement was entered into, we did not have the picnic shelter that was added down there and those walking trails. The walking trails are not an issue. There's a contract with a company that maintains those. If trees fall, they walk them, they take care of that. That's done here. The picnic shelter, LifeBright's doing that just like they do this meeting space there, where they rent it, the little area. And they take care of that and collect that and rent it and schedule it. So we need to add something into this contract, it's operating agreement, that they're also operating that shelter and the rental agreement for it. So Ty will work on adding something for that. I sent it to LifeBright to make sure they didn't see anything that needed to be changed, and they haven't gotten back with me yet exactly on any of theirs. I don't anticipate any changes other than the picnic shelter portion, unless there's something that you all see that you'd like to change within it. I think it would just be adding that to it, that they're also taking care of that part of it, and also changing those dates again, because it was a 36-month contract.
Questions, comments on that? Okay. Move on to item K, the county manager contract.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. That's hard to believe that it's done through that 3-year phase on this contract, but that's where we're at, and it runs out in June 30th. I'm ready to retire, but I am willing to extend to 60 months, 60 days, 5 years. 6 more months to December the 31st, and that's going to be my last day.
But you already offered 60, so which one is it?
6 months.
60 months to start.
Yeah, that's what I heard was 60.
Yeah.
That way, I was thinking about buying a new car, and then what that. But anyway,
So
that
is it 60 days, 60 months, or 60 years?
6 months.
6 months.
Oh, wow.
December the 31st, 2021 will be my last day. If you would like to have it extended for 6 more months, and that way you can take time to find my replacement, and it's also a time of that Amber and myself can make sure everything's acclimated and ready to go, and so move on that way. But if you want, I'm willing to go 6 more months.
Okay. 16 more.
December the 31st, 2021. But it has been great to serve Stokes County. And I'll talk more about that in December if that's what you approve. If not, I'll talk about it more in June.
Questions or comments for?
No, I think it's probably a good
Put it
idea.
on action at the next meeting.
Okay. Sure, we can do it this meeting and get shut and type up 6-0. 60.
My wife would kill me.
All right, we'll move on to our action agenda now. Item A, the Board of Elections voting machine request. And Jason Perry is here to answer any questions if we needed any more information on this.
Yeah, I thought I could provide an overview if you'd like, or I can answer any additional questions you may have on the request that we have.
I'll just comment, I came to observe the voting thing the other day, what'd you call that, a mock election?
Yeah,
or
simulated election.
Simulated election, and that new machine looks really good to me. I mean, real improvement over the old one, so.
Right.
I don't see any hacking or security issues with that at all, so it had been brought up. It generates a ballot just like the others, it just looks a little different, but.
I had a question on that ballot. I noticed there was some barcodes at the top. Do you know what that does or what that means? Is that on a normal ballot too, and I just never noticed it, or?
Yeah, I think that's similar to what you get on the paper ballot that you get with it fill in the oval. There's a channel markings on the side that when you write it in, it helps read the name of who you've selected. So there are some similarities between those two.
So
That's what
both have, the barcodes help the machine read the ballot, is that what you're saying?
Right, it identifies the line of the name and the oval that's been filled in.
Okay, it would just probably be on a different spot on the bigger ballot, because that's a smaller, like he said, a card ballot.
Right, yeah, so on the larger ballot that we've had for all those years, it's on the left-hand side.
Okay.
You see those, similar to
Okay,
that.
so that's really no different. Well, I watched the video, I wasn't able to be here for that demonstration, but I watched the videos on YouTube that were available, you know, that explained it and showed it, and I did notice that for special needs voters that they could make it bigger so they could read it better, adjust the contrast so they could see it better if they needed to make it black and white or whatever, and it had the Braille, the touch thing for Braille. People who read Braille or can just audio have to vote by listening through the audio, through the headphones. And I understand why each precinct is required by law to have an ADA voting machine. And all this is doing is replacing those machines. And didn't you say the old ones are from 2006?
Correct, yeah.
So we are replacing pretty old equipment.
Yeah, another benefit is the portability of the newer ones. The Automarks weigh about, those are the old machines, weigh about 51 pounds, and the Express votes weigh about 21. So when we had our simulated election last week, I had a group of early voting election day workers that helped us with the test, kind of a core group that has helped for many years now. And when the representative of the vendor lifted out the new machine, he kind of out of the bag with one hand, they had a positive response with how light it is and how portable. So I think you'll have a lot of happy poll workers at the very least if you were to decide to go forward.
Is this state mandated? We have to have these machines?
Yes,
Yeah, one at each side or two?
one at each side. Right. So we have the DS200, which is the optical scan tabulator that we purchased last year. And those worked well overall, and hope to use those many more years. And the current accessibility machine we have are called the Automarks, and we're looking to replace those with these.
I think it said on that video that I watched that it has no capability to store or tabulate votes in and of itself. It's still done through the scanner. And I just feel like election integrity is very important. You know, the confidence that the people have in the process and the voting is a concern. Therefore, I wouldn't want to see all of our machines replaced with this at all. You know, because I think the paper ballot is important. So, and protecting the integrity of the election is so important. I know y'all been doing a good job with that, but I don't see that this is any danger of affecting that, really. So that's just my 2 cents.
This is strictly for handicap.
Any voter can choose to use them. They're designed with that in mind, but any voter can choose to use it if they want to.
You want to go, you want me to go?
I'll go first, if you don't mind.
That's fine, go ahead. You got your highlighter out, so.
I just want to be upfront and say that I may be the only person on the board that votes the way I'm going to vote, so that's a great thing about democracy. Everybody gets to vote their own opinion, and therefore, I've said it many times, you know, if you're the only one that votes a certain way, that's a great thing about America right now. You get to vote your conscience. I've really done a lot of research on this. In fact, I was on the phone at 10:30 last night with the county commissioner from Ymca County. And he has sent back quite a few. They had an 8 o'clock meeting this morning in Ymca County discussing their budget, and I asked him if he would talk to his Board of Elections people, and he has sent back and said, Ronnie, no discussion on those voting machines. I asked the new Board of Elections Director, new chair about them, neither had any knowledge of this. And as I went through this, I went back and I looked at the whole meeting that we had on April 26th, which what you came and presented. There was no confusion on my part as far as ADA and the optical scan. I know that's two totally different things. One for special needs, the ADA, and they would need one each one. I did write down a few notes, and this may not make any difference to anyone, but I'm going to, I just, in my own conscience, got to get these out. There's been a lot of things that happened in the 2020 election, not here. Stokes counties went smoothly, and I want to give you praise for that. But in other states, there have been some issues. And I really wanted to see this in action. And when you sent your email out, it said you wanted to set up Wednesday, May the 19th at 12:30, testing new ADA compliant voting machines as well as an election software update. We currently have auto marks, and this would be switching to express vote. Is that correct?
Correct.
And in a last meeting, Commissioner Morris asked if he came out and asked, did they have any more life left in the ones we had? And your answer was they do have some more life in them. And you used 5 years analysis. You said approximately 5 years, because I looked at it this morning and wrote down word for word what was said. You also said you addressed Forsyth County. I think we're much more like, our county's a lot more similar to Rockingham County than Forsyth County as far as size, demographics, etc. And Rockingham County is doing nothing with this. And only 28 counties used this express vote last fall. And as I'm looking through this, I'm not getting a good vibration that counties our size are wanting to change over to another machine after the way the national election went. And it'd be almost like me wanting to buy a $50,000 car, and the owner of that dealership emails me and says, Ronnie, your $50,000 car is ready, but you got to come out here at 12 o'clock and look at it and test drive it if you want to. But yet, if you don't come at that time, you don't get to test drive it. But we still want you to buy it. Well, we only had one commissioner at that meeting, and that was Commissioner Morris. And I know Rick had told us at the last meeting, I believe he was going to be in Texas for this meeting, but the weather, they had flooding in Texas and Louisiana, so he had to change his plans. So really, we would not have had one commissioner at the meeting on Wednesday to see this in action. Commissioner Nicholson, did you go?
No, I couldn't.
And Commissioner Cox already said she didn't, but she looked at it on the video. And Commissioner Barney Castle, did you go?
Yes, sir.
And I will just be up front with you. I've had 2 heart attacks, and I had a cardiology appointment to determine whether I had to have a defibrillator put in my chest or not. And that was a 12 o'clock doctor's appointment. And if I hadn't gone, it'd been 6 more months before I could have got another cardiologist's opinion on whether I had to have that.
I understand. Absolutely
So,
understand.
I mean, you
Right.
prioritize.
I understand.
Do I want to do I want the doctor's opinion on whether I've got to have something put in my chest, or do I come to a meeting? And it was a very simple answer. I had to be out there and get his opinion. And so we had one commissioner that actually saw it. It's just like I would not buy a $50,000 BMW or anything else if I didn't get in that thing and drive it, or at least get to go to it and look at it in person. And we had no optional days. I don't think you listed any other days. Like, you can choose May the 17th, May the 19th, May the 22nd. You gave one day at one time. And we wound up with one commissioner there. And I'm glad Rick got to go. However, just a lot of things in that I have questions on. And then when I contact Rockingham County, and they, the gentleman I spoke to, the commissioner, he was chairman last year on their board, and we're very close. And he researched it for me this morning because they met at 8 o'clock this morning. So I just want you to know it's nothing personal. I may be, and I may not get any other votes, and that's fine. That's the great thing about this world. Nobody gets to express their opinion. But I have issues with it, so I just want to throw them out.
Okay.
And just let you know.
Sure.
I'm just an upfront person.
Sure.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
I have a couple of follow-ups. If you, go ahead. Does somebody else have any before?
Go after you, go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple things. This has HAVA funding with it, right? We're sharing it with them. Some HAVA grant funding.
Correct, yeah. The HAVA grant is for $51,227.
And if I remember correctly, the HAVA grant money sort of went away, and then we didn't have any for years, and we were setting money aside. So it's not, it doesn't automatically show up every year, HAVA grant stuff, right?
Correct, right, yeah. So this is money that was authorized and appropriated by the General Assembly through Session Law 2020-17. It sort of originated from out of the pandemic, but the funds don't have to be used for pandemic purposes.
We don't spend it, if we don't spend it on these machines, will we lose it?
Well, we would lose it as of June 30th.
Okay.
It has to be encumbered. Purchases have to be encumbered by June 30th.
Okay, great. That's what I thought. The last question is on the 5-year thing for the older. I didn't realize those machines were that old, but when we bought the other new machines, weren't they were about the same age as the ones we're replacing with these machines, right?
Correct.
And weren't there parts obsolescence issues or something with them? And I wondered if I remember correctly, and then so wouldn't there be the same possible parts obsolescence with these?
Yeah, I think my board and our approach was just the amount of use that the optical scan tabulator gets. And so we were focusing on that, replacing those to begin with, and because of the overall amount of money we'd be asking for. So we kind of put the auto marks, the ADA machines on the back burner in the moment. But yes, you're correct. These machines will have issues moving forward with replacement parts. They're not making new ones. They're still serviced for the time being, but they're taking from other machines, auto marks, and
they're cannibalizing old machines.
Right.
Weren't we doing that too? Didn't we have a spare with our other ones that we were for emergencies? I thought we had a couple extra ones.
Well, we do have extra ones, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's all I have.
I would like to come back. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate you clarifying on that. However, I would say this. When y'all came to us and asked for the optical scan machines, you did not ask for the optical scan and the ADA when you brought that forward to us.
Correct.
You only asked for optical scan machines.
Correct.
I remember that very vividly. And it was $125,713, and I remember that. And there was not an inclusion of asking us for optical scan and the ADA machines. And so therefore, we did not have to make a decision on buying the ADA machines at that point. And secondly, you cannot really stand before us today and say that in the next 5 years that there would be another grant come forward, can you? You cannot actually say to us, you can't guarantee us that we might not have another grant in the next 5 years from this.
No, it's possible.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. The one question I got is as far as this machines and the software, everything we have to update, what's the total cost on all this? Is this grant going to cover it or?
The total cost is $65,847.50. So the difference between those two is $14,620.50. That would be the cost to the county. There are some long-term savings that we could count on, though. For instance, the amount, I may have mentioned this previously, I apologize, but there's preventive maintenance each year on the each machine, and so the express vote that we're referring to, the yearly maintenance would be $2,400, and the automarks would be $64.40. So that's $4,000 yearly savings. We're also getting a buyback trade-in allowance on the automark machines that we have now. That's $9,200. I was told by the vendor typically that would be $4,600, $200 per machine. And the more years that pass, the amount of the trade-in allowance would decrease. So,
Say that last part again. They're giving you a trade allowance of how much?
$9,200 on the machines that we currently have.
But they would normally only give you how much?
$200 per machine, $4,600.
So what's the big incentive for?
I guess encouraging counties to move forward now.
But if I made the 65,848 has the trade-in out of it already.
Okay.
You won't have 14,621 is what the county's going to have to come up with to do these machines.
No matter what, after the trade-in and everything.
It's already been figured out to be
Okay.
per Jason.
Okay, that's all I had. So it's still sit out there for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and purchase the machines, the new ones, because with the HAVA grant putting in that much money and us a relatively small amount compared to it, plus my kind of newly discovered thing about the age of the old machines and the parts of obsolescence and so forth, and then the things that Jason just mentioned. I mean, it kind of seems to me like it's be a pretty logical thing to go ahead and purchase them. Really don't like to lose that grant money. That my motion will be to go ahead and purchase them for those reasons.
Motion, I have a second.
Well, I'll second it just because I've had several people that work the polls contact me about how much better this would be for them. So, I mean, they don't have any concerns about the security of them, and they're people I can trust, so I'll be glad to.
And if you approve this, you'll need to approve Budget Amendment 106, which allocates the money with the HAVA grant funding plus the $14,621 for the county portion for a total of $65,848. So that's Budget Amendment 106.
Any more discussion on it?
Should add that to the motion then?
I guess you had to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just amend it to say
Go
that.
Amend it to include approval of the budget amendment.
Got a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, there is also a compatibility with the existing machines and the new software that is being purchased that goes along with the ADA. I just wanted the compatibility there. Does the old machines have to be updated with this new software, or?
The software that we're upgrading to currently, no, it doesn't. It is compatible.
It is compatible?
Right. I'm sorry, I had a couple of thoughts in my head at the same time. The software that we are upgrading to would be compatible with the optical scan tabulator and the ADA machine. There is another software upgrade that has not yet gotten State Board of Elections certification, but the vendor is attempting to do that later this year, early next year. And at that time, a county wouldn't have, we could stay with the same software that we have, but if we choose to upgrade to the highest level of software, at some point, those are not compatible with the AutoMarks. So we would have to stay with the level of software that we have. And the software comes free with all this. We've been with the vendor for a number of years, so it's a cost savings when we purchase the DS200, for instance.
Mr. Ray, was that something you heard at your presentation?
Well, when Rick and I was sitting right here, when they was talking to them, and I just asked him, with the new software coming out with the ADA machines that you wanted to go with, is that with the existing machines, would they be compatible with that? And my understanding, he told us that he would have to update the old machines to the new software.
Eventually.
Well, yes, the existing machines that we currently have would be compatible with the software that was demonstrated.
The optical scan machines that you have now. Is that what you mean?
The optical scan machines that we currently have and the ADA machines that we currently have would be compatible with the software that we currently have and the software that we're looking to upgrade to. Right. I don't know if that made sense.
If we kept the old machines, then we could eventually want to upgrade to the higher software. State might make us do that, right? Or would they? Do they make you do certain levels of software?
No, there's always, I guess, the possibility, and again, that's not something that I've seen, but I think one of the discussions was if the state were to decertify a piece of equipment, my understanding is there's some, I'd have to research this further, but the AutoMark being older, if they were to decertify it, then we would have to upgrade. But in terms of software, the software that we have, if we stayed put with where we're at now, or if we upgraded to the one that was demonstrated that we're looking to move to, they would be compatible with the AutoMark or the Express Vote. But if we wanted to go to the highest level of software that eventually will be certified by the state, then we would have to have the Express Vote. That wouldn't be compatible with the
It could hold us back at that point if we
Yes.
get to that point, if we
Yes.
still have the old machine.
Correct.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay.
Nay.
Move on to item B, the Senior Services Meals Fiscal Year 21-22. Have a motion on this?
Motion.
Second.
In discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Item C, the DSS Board Appointment Request. And at the last meeting, Shannon Schaefer presented the application for Ann Vance to fill the vacancy on the DSS board. Ann Vance was nominated, and there was moved to action. This position has been advertised. I'll need to open the floor for any additional nominations.
Motion that we close nominations.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. I'll now poll the board, starting with Commissioner Morris. It was Ann Vance.
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 Vance. Item D, Assistant County Manager / Clerk to the Board position request. On May 13th, the board conducted interviews and unanimously selected Amber Brown to fill the position. By the general statute of the board, must formally approve this in a meeting. Have a motion on it?
Motion.
Second.
In discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye real loud.
Item E, the food service contract for the jail. Do I have a motion?
Got a motion?
Second.
In discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Item F, the fireworks display request.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
In discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item G, and this also had to budget amendment 105 for the Stokes County Green Box Site security request. Have a motion?
Motion.
In discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Item H, it's also budget amendment number 99, wastewater treatment plant service agreement. Have a motion?
Motion. I'm sorry, go ahead, Sonia. Second.
In discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Item I, insurance rates for fiscal year 21-22. Have a motion on this?
Motion. Motion to approve.
Okay, second. In discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. If there's nothing else, do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
That's the loudest one I heard you say.
Second.
In discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Tell them they're invited upstairs. You want to tell them now?
If y'all would like to stay, we're having refreshments and stuff for Shannon upstairs in the third floor conference center.
We
So
are
yeah,
having refreshments, aren't we?
yeah, oh yeah.